Edward Snowden has declared mission accomplished. I like this a lot. He did an interview, long interview with the Washington Post, with Gelman, who originally broke the story along with The Guardian. He said, "For me, in terms of personal satisfaction, the mission's already accomplished. I already won." Damn, that's strong, man. And then he added, and then he dropped the mic and was like, "What now?" Okay. So, and first let's let him explain why. He says, "Look, as soon as the journalists were able to work, everything that I had been trying to do was validated. Because remember, I didn't want to change society. I wanted to give society a chance to determine if it should change itself." Damn, that's deep, man. Okay, now look, if anything, this made me respect him more. Because in the beginning, when I read the headline, he declares mission accomplished, I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I'm not sure the NSA's really changed anything, government's changed anything. You're still considered an outlaw, you know, and so I know that there's a lot of talk about it. But that last line was powerful to me. He's like, look, this isn't about me and like, oh, I want to change society. I let you know, and now you decide, right? And in that case, he's kind of right. Ben, I think it is kind of mission accomplished because now we know.
Yeah, he can't change. No one thought he could change what the NSA does or how they practice their trade. But he's made the conversation happen, and he's changed. You know, we've got hundreds of members of Congress who care about this. Not all of them, or not enough of them. We got judges who care about it. A judge who declared the program unconstitutional in a lawsuit that would never have happened. You know, he's changed it dramatically. You know, there's a limit to what one man could do, and I think he's hit the limit.
Yeah. I agree that he has certainly made it a story where it would not have been a story. But what bothers me, I guess, about the state we're in, at least the position we're in this whole, like, will something come of it? He says he wanted to give society a chance to determine if it should change itself. And I like that it's being debated, and Obama had the panel, and he's considering the 36 recommendations.
46. Don't sell him short.
46.
That's just what the Republicans
300 pages,
do.
46. Okay, but I don't know if society wants to change itself. Like, we were talking for months about Obamacare and its issues with the website and Benghazi. Like, do people really care? I think they care to some extent, but I think that the left is somewhat apathetic, and the right has shown that they don't actually care about big government invading your privacy and everything. I don't think we care as much as we should have about what's been revealed.
I understand what you're saying, John, and obviously I totally agree because I think we need to change, and I'm not sure that we're there. Look, if you poll the American people, I think we kind of are there, right? But if you poll our politicians, that's a different story, and there's often that disconnect, right?
And there's very quickly, let me just say, and then there's the huge disconnect between if you poll the American people, and then what will they do about it? Like, we know what they want, but are they going to vote? Are they going to vote their guy out based on it? And I think we're pretty certain the answer to that's probably
right.
no.
And the establishment usually wins because of that disconnect, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, if you're not going to vote based on it, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is to give myself more power, right? But Ben is right. Like, Snowden's job is done.
Yeah.
You know, he can't do any more than he already did. He's like, look, I let you know what they were doing. Now, if you don't want to change it, that's on you. I mean, I don't get to decide that, right?
Yeah. Do you think that this is an indication that the majority, or at least the lion's share of what he had to reveal has been revealed? That he's declaring this because, well, I put out the biggest stuff that I have?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's possible. I don't know if it's some sort of, you know, if there's a game going on in terms of his basically asylum request to Brazil and how he promised Putin that he wouldn't release any more new info. So that might all be at play. But I think that it's just simpler than that. I really think it's just him saying, you know, and he's going to do an alternative Christmas message in the UK, and he's saying similar things like, hey, listen, now you know, and as he said in the UK message, look, George Orwell from the UK wrote about this brilliantly. It's unfortunately worse than he wrote about in some ways. So now it's up to you guys, the citizens. So he's trying to activate people to say, now you know, now you got to take that next step and do something. And if you don't, it's on you, right?
Yeah, I agree. I also don't think there's anything, I mean, are there other things that the NSA has done that he knows about that he's not? Yes. Will any of them be grander than what we've seen? Probably not. I mean, if they were listening in on all conversations or on many conversations and taking a transcript and then kibitzing about it in the break room, right? Or anything in that vein, I think we'd know. Because at that point, once it was out, it suddenly became easier for other national security correspondents to get some sources who would say, that's not half of it. And we haven't really had any stories like that. I mean,
we've only had the guy from 60 Minutes in charge of the task force to see what information was revealed, say that, like, well, he does have the keys to the kingdom. If he wanted to reveal to the Russians, the Chinese, etc., how we do things, that would be incredibly damaging.
But that struck to me about how we do deal with things in regard to spying on foreign powers.
Right.
Right, but that's
So
not.
that might be Snowden's way of saying, I'm not going to give that up.
Right, and also I don't think Americans care about that. Like we get, like, yeah, we spy aggressively on foreign powers, and that doesn't.
That's supposed to be the NSA's job.
That's supposed to be the NSA's job.
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing that's interesting, and I don't know if it's interesting, but everybody joked about it in the beginning, but in a sense, part of the lack of outrage, I think, really stems from how inoculated we got to this kind of overseeing prior to this. I mean, and I'm not trying to be flippant about it. It's happened to me 20 times in the last year. And it happened yesterday because I sent my father-in-law a Christmas present. He went to Notre Dame. I sent him a nice Notre Dame zip-up fleece sweatshirt. Looks kind of badass.
That sounds awesome. Can
Right.
you send me
Yeah.
one too? It's not too late. You can do it like on Christmas Eve.
And then I go
Put it
in
on the
to
tree.
look at my favorite website, Major League Baseball Trade Rumors, right? And every ad there is to buy a Notre Dame hat at Lids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, right? Everybody's experienced this, but I mean, if they can do it, what? The government can't do that? Can't try? So
That's the simplest thing in the world. It's just dropping a cookie on your ass.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, right. So I mean, so I presume they definitely know all these things, and that's why when the revelations came, many people were not home aloneing it. They were.
Well, that's part of what Snowden said in his UK message. He said, look, our kids are probably going to grow up in a society where they don't even quite understand what the concept of privacy is.
That's right.
And he said that's a terrible loss. Here, let me read you.
Because it's been taken from them while they're simultaneously giving it up every single day.
Yeah. It almost reminds me of like Walking Dead, like with the kids that grow up, they never knew there was another world, and sorry for.
I haven't seen it. Don't spoil it.
Okay, all right. Anyway, and Snowden says in that message, privacy matters. Privacy is what allows us to determine who we are and who we want to be. Look, Snowden's a great guy, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like Bruce.
Yeah. So let me finish up the last couple of things here. So White House spokespeople responded, in this case, Caitlin Hayden, to Snowden. She said, Mr. Snowden faces felony charges here in the United States and should be returned to the U.S. as soon as possible, where he will be afforded due process and all the protections of our criminal justice system. That spooked me out, man. That felt like what the USSR would have put out in the old days. Like, oh no, Mr.
Right.
Kortakovsky can come right back. He will be afforded all of the due process and criminal justice system that the Politburo has in store for him, right? Like I was like, that sent a chill down my spine, reading hey, I understand what he's saying, and he did reveal nothing. We're coming to get you, man. And we've learned nothing from this, and you are public enemy number one, and that's never going to change.
I didn't take it that way. I hear you. It's a great point about like what would have been a statement from Pravda.
Yeah.
To me, that's like he still faces. It all depends on the fake accent that you give the quote. Really, you went with
French
Mr. Snowden faces. I would go with Mr. Snowden faces felony charges, and we don't really want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
Like blah, 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 blah. Like I don't know.
Stop asking me these questions.
Stop asking. Please stop asking me these questions.
I believe both interpretations are perfectly fair. All right, and then finally, Snowden says one more thing. He says about the NSA, I'm not trying to bring down the NSA. I'm working to improve the NSA. I'm still working for the NSA right now. They're the only ones who don't realize it. Yeah. God, I love this guy.
Elbow drop.
Okay, I love this guy. And of course, I think he's totally right? The NSA is important, and if they actually track down terrorists, would be enormously helpful. And from time to time they do. But they need to concentrate on that instead of spying on 300 some odd million Americans, because it's both wrong constitutionally, legally, morally, etc., and also grossly inefficient. And then you lose the faith of the people that you are overlording, right? And so that doesn't help you. So right now when you ask the American people, I would say at least half, view the NSA negatively, not positively. And if you're the NSA and you're looking to protect the American people, wouldn't you want them to think these guys are looking out for us instead of these guys are looking into us?